Good evening, Facebook. Good evening, YouTube. Thank you all for joining us again for this episode of the Layover podcast. Today we have Mr. Troy T McClain joining us. If you've seen our advertisement, then you know that today's title is How Do You Know You Are on the Right Path? Hashtag Getting There. Mr. Troy is an author, minister, speaker, political activist, mentor, trainer. Um, He's a lot. So, Troy, without any further ado, can you please introduce yourself to our passengers? Let them know who you are and what do you do.
Well, first, let me say thank you for having me on your podcast, your show, with the one, the only Karen T. Lewis. Can't forget out. You cannot leave out the T. So, but anyway, I'm humbled to be on your show. We've worked together. We've spoken extensively, and to say the least, I'm humbled. Who I am by name. Troy T McClain Jr., born and raised here in the lovely Charleston, South Carolina, 36 years young. And I am on a quest to fulfill purpose on purpose. Come from a family of seven. I am the second oldest of those churn, as they say here in the low country. Um, as far as who I am, what I do, I love God, I love people, and think I was born with a purpose to fulfill purpose on purpose. I will serve in any capacity in which I am asked to serve on, whether it's in ministry, whether it's in community, whether it's in the political realm, whether it's young people. It does not matter, what capacity I'm asked to serve. One of my favorite quotes is, "The greatest among you shall be your servant." Everybody can't be famous, but everybody can be great because greatness is determined by service. And I aim to serve in whatever capacity that I am asked to serve at that particular moment, time, and space. I think that then that was a good introduction.
Okay, I'll take that. I'll take that. So, Troy, you didn't touch on being an author, um,
Okay.
and we're going to call it a bestseller because it is what it is. But I
Okay.
want it
Okay.
all, right? And I think it drives right into our topic for today. Like, how do you know you're on the right path? And your book is titled I Want It All, right? So getting there, as far as writing your book, what did that take?
Well, 2015, I wrote my first book called "I Want It All: Practical Principles to Living Your Best Life Now." What that means for me is I struggled a lot in school, failed four times between elementary and high school. If they didn't have summer school, I probably still would have been in school. Praise the Lord! Right now, I'm trying to get out. But anyway, so I overcame and conquered those challenges as it pertains to school, and graduated high school and college, and went on to get a certification in diversity and inclusion, finished my John Maxwell course, started a nonprofit organization. But the book comes in at 2015. I figure if I can survive, conquer, overcome all the challenges that I have, it just makes good sense to inspire, empower, and motivate others that it's not where you start, but it's where and how you finish. So I figured, well, why not share a little bit of my story on the journey with becoming uh, what I am today, becoming what I've been born to be um, in those moments, and what I'm still on a journey to become now. So the book has been a blessing to me. Since then, I finished my second one, but hopefully in the near future, I'll release that, et cetera, et cetera. Now, you asked me, how do I know when you're on the right path, right? Um, One of my favorite quotes, and pardon me if I give a lot of quotes. I'm just that guy. I like
Are
quotes and
that guy for quotes.
quotes and stories and all of that good stuff, right? Um, I believe, I heard Steve Harvey say it. I think it belonged to someone else. So, to those that are listening, my granddad says, he said, son, if you hear something that somebody likes, the first time you can quote their name. The second time you can say somebody said. Now the third time is mine. So, so for those of you that are out there listening and you use it, just give me my props, my credit the first time. Second time, somebody said. Third time is yours. Relating to the topic and the question that you asked me, um, he said that your career is what you're paid for, but your calling is what you're made for, right? So the distinct and subtle difference between the two is, your purpose or your success can make you happy, but only purpose can make you whole. Subtle difference between the two, right? Or what's the difference? Because there are a lot of people that are successful in terms of monetarily, right? They might have the fame, they might have the materialistic items, big houses, big cars, all of those things will still yet feel unfulfilled, right? So, how do you, knowing you're on the right path means whatever it is that you're doing, you feel whole doing it. You feel content doing it. Mother Teresa was not the richest woman in the world, yet you and I are still talking about her today. Why? Because she was fulfilling her purpose. She helped millions of people around the world and she wasn't acquiring money doing it. It's that thing, that inner thing that you could do every day for free if you needed to. That thing that is connected to, not necessarily connected to money. Now, I ain't saying you should do it for free. Praise the Lord. I'm saying you're on the right path when you are doing something that you could do every day and may or may not get paid for. It's the internal fulfillment that can only be nurtured by your willingness to do it on a continual, perpetual basis. Again, success may make you happy, but only purpose can make you whole. And fulfilling purpose is something that I find joy in serving in the community. She mentioned earlier in the capacities in which I serve. If I'm serving in ministry, whether I have to minister somewhere, if I'm serving in the community, if I'm serving in the political arena, you know, um, all of those things is, I feel like I'm operating in totality in terms of my purpose and to be spiritual. The one thing about the Bible, if you will, is that the effectiveness of Jesus, it rests in him not being able. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, right? So,
Right.
the essence of Jesus' ministry, it, it exudes itself only whenever Jesus met the need, right? So often we want people to be what it is or get what it is that we're selling without meeting their need. So, in meeting someone's need, you plant the seed for them to hear what it is that you're saying. But anyway, I felt like I was getting a little too deep in preachery, so I ain't gonna do that. I think I answered, or did I answer the question? How do you know when you're on the right path?
So you did. Ultimately, you said it's purpose. When you're able to do something without getting any type of monetary reward, you still enjoy doing it. So that's part of knowing that you're getting there. That you're on the right path in your journey.
Yeah.
Um, so yes, you definitely did answer the question. Um, it's funny because you said an excerpt from your book, and I was actually going to ask you about that excerpt because the other part of that was you said God has assigned a specific purpose for each of us to fulfill. And until we are operating in it, our lives remain unfulfilled. So the fact that you even said the half of the excerpt, that was the other part I was going to ask you about, was funny to me. So
Wow. Well, to add to that, a lot of people here, something else that I heard. I don't know who I heard it from, but I'm going to say I said it. Yeah, I said it. So hey, Krivanda, how are you? Thank you so much for hopping on. So, one thing I would say in addition to that is what you're good at may not be what you're good for, right? So what does that mean? That there are a lot of people that are good at different things. Case in point, LeBron James is a phenomenal basketball player, right? He's good
mhm.
at that, but he's good for his philanthropic work. He's good for creating opportunities for kids that are going through his schools. And I believe he finds more fulfillment in that aspect of who he is because he gets the opportunity to be good for not personal gain and basketball accomplishments, but good for being a seed into hundreds, thousands of million other kids that are trying to get to where it is that they want to get to. And he may never get his fifth ring in the NBA, but I don't think that will tarnish or that will change. Thank you. That will tarnish or change his reputation for why he's here. Understanding your why is in direct alignment with your purpose. Monetarily, you can't understand your why monetarily. That's falling in line with the fulfillment of your purpose and feeling unfulfilled. Right? That you'll only know that you will only know. Can nobody tell? Can nobody tell me nothing? I feel
Oh,
like that's
now
a song or
we're
something like that. So, a lot of people may see the potential of what you could be, um, because if people would see the potential of what you could be, then maybe you would be what you could be because someone saw the potential in you. But it first has to start with you internally, you, the individual, and knowing that what I'm good at may not be what I'm good or made for. Yeah, I hope I add some context to the quote that you referenced from my book.
Well, that's good because sometimes that our appetite may not be our assignment. So really
Mm,
meaning we might hunger to do something in life and we feel like, oh, this is it right here, but it may not be the exact assignment that we're supposed to be on. It feels good, but that everything that's good isn't God. Doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. It just means that we're not operating 100% of where we need to be at. So
mm,
that's why I feel like even you choosing the topic, getting there, it piqued my interest because I sent you a list of topics, and you kind of like immediately responded and chose getting there. So I just want to ask you quickly, what made you out of the list of topics even choose that particular title, getting there? Because a lot of people are wondering what their purpose is. So what made you choose that?
Well, I was scared, y'all. Karen threatened me. She told me I had to choose a topic in that moment, and I just picked one. No, I'm just kidding. Well, getting there. But to be honest with you, for me, we I will never actually get there. Why? Because if in fact if we feel like we have gotten there, I heard someone say that don't allow your success to be your coffin, right? Sometimes when we feel like we've gotten there, we've arrived, then we lose the hunger, we lose the desire to fulfill, we lose the grit, the grind, the essence of what it took to get to where it is that we're trying to get. And some would like in other people's mind, I may be doing absolutely wonderful. Like, oh my God, you've done this, you've accomplished this, you've been successful at this and that and that and this. But in my mind, I still got a long way to go. I will never actually get there in a traditional sense. We're all on a journey to get to the place of fulfillment. The place of fulfillment, total, complete fulfillment, is death, right?
Hmm.
Miles Monroe said, when people are looking at your tombstone, uh, the most important part of the tombstone is not where you were born, and not even when you died, but it's the dash. What did you do in the time that you were here? What did you do when you were given the opportunity to live? Right. So for me, I don't. I have grown and I've evolved to understand that I'll never get there, right? Getting there is not a physical place. It's it is the place of fulfillment, and we're not fulfilled until God calls us and says, "Your assignment is up. You've completed it, and it's time to come home." I hope that made sense, and I wasn't too deep and wonderful and preachery and all that good stuff.
No, it wasn't, because getting there really is a action phrase. Like you said, you
Mm,
really never get there. It's it's always going to be a journey,
yeah,
because you
yeah,
get to one goal, and when you get there, it creates another goal.
yeah.
So it doesn't create a sense of complacency. It's always going to be uh, Nipsey Hussle. It's going to be a marathon. It's
Come on,
continuous.
you better come on, Karen. You better
Listen,
come on, Karen T.
you're not.
Lewis. Come on.
I'm not with the
Shoot.
preacher like you right now. However,
Shoot.
I just know just a little bit about, like you said, getting there it's never an ending point, because it is a continual journey. So
Absolutely. I agree strongly.
with the passengers that are right now, that are in their purpose, that are on their journey, what kind of advice would you give to them? Give to someone that, that's on their way to their next destination.
Wow. Just be like Karen T. Lewis. You won't go wrong.
Here you go, the jokes.
Listen, yeah, I wouldn't be who I am if I didn't give a little impromptu jokes, right? The advice I would give to passengers is to be beautiful, right? It's to be beautiful. It's simple. It's not over the top, but it's necessary in times like these. What do you mean by be beautiful? That means to be you to the fullest, right? Be beautiful. Be you to the fullest. Nicole, you get on my reserved nerve. I just want you to know that my reserved nerve. Anyway, be you to the fullest. In a social media in a social media driven world, we are moved by how successful we see other people operating and what they are good at, right? So
Hmm.
we think that by shortcutting the getting there, shortcutting the promise or the process, that'll help us reach our promise much quicker, right? But that's not that's not the way it works, because you think by looking at someone else's um, their finished product, that omits you from the process. But there can be no promise without a process. And in understanding what being you is, the world is overpopulated with people trying to be copycat. So why be born an original and want to die a copycat, right?
Hmm.
So being you to the fullest understand helps the individual understand that if God wanted you to be that person, He would have made that person you. Or if He wanted you to be anybody else, He'd have made you every and anybody else. There's a uniqueness about you, and once we take the time to get to know ourselves inwardly, everything else will begin to line up. Once I begin to understand that, as famous and as wonderful as Woody McClain is, my first cousin, My daddy and his daddy is brothers. He is doing amazing things. He's killing, right? In terms of acting, and he's got millions of followers, so people will psych you into thinking, man, you should be an actor. You should no, boo boo. That's not my assignment, right? I've accepted what I am and what I'm not, and understanding who I am and whose I am, right? Not being lost or caught up in the hype or distracted by the noise, but understanding my assignment. Once I understood my assignment, then you know what? Even if it takes 1, 2, 3, 4 years of the perfecting of the becoming of me, at least I'm being me to the fullest. So be beautiful and understand that it takes patience, right? It's Rome wasn't built overnight in one night. And David, believe it or not, David was anointed to be king, arguably between 13 to 15 years of age. He didn't become king until he was 30. So that's 15 years. Ooh, okay. All right, I'm so sorry. I got lost in a minute. So
Continue because
that
I'm here
was
for
that
all
was
of it.
15, that was 15 years of being perfected in the process before the promise. Mm. So most of us want it right now. We want it in the moment without wanting to be perfected in the promise. So we get promoted before being fully processed, and we have a premature promotion, so much so that we cannot maintain the maturity to where the promise has taken us because we got there too fast. I hope that made sense to somebody, and I'm just going to end it on that note. I hope I answered your question to all of the passengers that are saying, "I'm ready to ride. Where we going?" I hope that answered the question.
Well, you definitely made some key points, even maturity. There are some things that God may give us a glimpse of that if He was to put the full meal on our plates right now, we couldn't eat it.
Mm,
Let's think about a boy and a man. As a child, your mom fixes you a plate, right? And she's giving you half the plate that your father would have received because as a boy, your eyes may be big and you think that you can eat that plate, but she knows as a child that you can't eat everything that she has for you.
mm,
So you're looking at, and this is visual, you're looking at your dad's plate and you're like, oh, I want more, but you still have not finished the food that's on your plate. And that's kind of like what God does. He gives us a glimpse of where we can be or where we will be,
yeah.
but we have to mature. We have to go through that process. We have to create a hunger and a need to be where we're going. Because
Mm,
if we get it too soon, it could actually damage us more than it's helpful because we won't know what to do with it. We won't have had life lessons that's able to say, all right, well, I've been through this, so I know what I need to do here. So definitely maturity is definitely part of that process of getting to your journey. Um,
that's good. That's good, KT. That's real good.
I'm just feeding off of the tea over there from Troy T McClain now.
That's very nice. Very nice.
Look, I love me some Nicole. You hear me? And I see Shannon's on here as well. But yeah, definitely. And another thing I think that we all need to realize, even with the being on the right path and getting there, there's nothing wrong with having more than one gift or more than one purpose. Um, God given us a lot of gifts and a lot of things that we're able to use along the way. So don't just think, just because I'm on this particular journey, then this is it. Because there's other things. Whatever you're doing is going to be a breakthrough for someone else. And you have to be able to know what gifts to use in that season because every season is not going to be the same.
That's
Some
good.
seasons you're going to go through things that are not even meant for you. But because you went through it, you can guide someone else that needed you. So just knowing that you're on the right path, I will let the pastors know on today is whenever you're able to help someone in a healing situation or help someone in a situation where they're able to fulfill what they need to fulfill, then you know you're on the right path, and you know that you're getting there to your destination,
Mm.
wherever that may be or wherever your calling is. So that's all I wanted to share too, just to tag on a little bit to
Mm.
what you had to say.
No, that was good. That was good. I receive it. I receive it.
Receive it, receive it. Look at Cole. But Troy, I definitely do thank you today for joining us, um, talking about, just being on the right path. Like I said, there's a lot of people that are questioning what is their purpose,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they might not even understand that what they're doing right now may be a part of their purpose, but it's going to be a little bit more also, because once you get to there's going to be more. There's
Mm.
not going to be an ending to it. It's going to be more.
I agree strongly. I agree.
So, Troy, if any of the passengers wanted to follow you and stay in um, connection with you, because you have a lot going on, you're
Mhm.
always speaking somewhere, how can they follow you?
All right. You guys can follow me on my social media platforms. I'm trying to be more, trying to do better with those. Trying to be like Karen. She got everything, everything. But I have a Facebook page, Troy T McClain Jr. I actually have a speaking page, T McClain Speaks, on Facebook as well as IG. And I have a Twitter, T McClain Speaks. I'm trying to do better with using that. Just pray for me. Yeah. So social media, Facebook, Troy T McClain Jr. Um, you can, you know what? These church folks are something else. these these church folks are something else. Church folk, only the church folks, only the church folk. So the IG is T McClain Speaks, and the website. Please, ma'am, please, sir, follow me on the website www.troytmcclain.com. www.troytmcclain.com. More often than not, you will find what I have going on one, if not all, of those entities. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or if all else fails, just ask Karen because she knows. She
Yeah, I'll
knows.
put all the good stuff up there. I'll leave the website up there for a little bit longer. Troy, there's another great thing that you're doing that we didn't even touch on at all, and it does tie in with the getting there. You're now helping young adolescent boys, right?
Oh, yeah.
About that program, because that fits well with purpose.
Um, well, in 2013, I started a mentorship program called the I Am Foundation. And with the I Am Foundation, it was actually an acronym for Instilling Ambitious Men. A part of me getting there resulted in me helping others to get there as well. So after finishing high school, going to college, finishing college, and doing all those things, I wanted to be able to give back to the community. So I started a mentorship program, and things were going well. Then life happened. I think I had like 4 or 5 jobs, and at the time, it just wasn't a good fit for all the things I had going on, plus COVID, and the I Am Foundation did well. But this year, uh, I do like a lot of different events benefiting adults in terms of networking because I believe that, we all need help, whether we 15, 25, 35. And I believe that you're one connection away from meeting that person that would change your brand, your business, or your life. Right. So I figured, well, spoke to my business partner. I said, hey, we should do an event empowering young people. So we did an event. We called it the Brothers and Blazers Bruncheon, and that benefited young people, young males between the ages of 7 to 15 years old. We asked that they would come in Blazers attire if they had it, and it was 15 of them, and it was 15 men, and for an entire day, we asked the men to pour into these young men. It's almost like if you were 10 years old, what would you tell your 10-year-old self at 35? Right. So it's an opportunity to give back to the younger generation, the future. Hence, birthed the name Legacy Builders Org. And we transformed what was the I Am Foundation to Legacy Builders Org. And since then, we have made it not just an event, but an experience with purpose on wheels. So we actually have done two Brothers and Blazers bruncheon. We've
Mhm.
done one Ladies and Legacy luncheon. So it's the same focus, but it's just towards ladies and young ladies, 7 to 15. And we have an event coming up on Father's Day. We're calling it the Legacy Ball. And that's going to involve fathers and their young princesses, or father figures and young ladies who may not have a father, but a father figure. So we're really excited about that because the essence of who we are is not about what we've accomplished. Success is not success until the successful successfully birth successors. Now I say that again for them church folk. Praise the Lord. Success is not success until the successful successfully birth successors. Right. So the essence of what Legacy Builders Org is it does not matter how effective you are if you do not empower, inspire, motivate, and birth someone else to do what you've done better. I hate to tell you, but you have failed. The effectiveness of what Jesus Christ did is that we're still talking about him today, and he died over 3,000 years ago because he was able to impart his message, his ideology, into 12 men, and those 12 men took it to the four corners of the world. So it does not matter how great and wonderful you think you are, if you don't pass the torch or the baton still lit, then and you die with it in your hand, you wrong. You wrong. Okay, that's the essence of what the nonprofit organization now. In the process, we've already changed the name with the Secretary of State. Just waiting for the IRS to catch up. I know they're going through some challenges and some
Don't
changes
call
right
them over
now.
here. Don't call them over here.
They're going through some challenges and some changes right now because of what's going on in the world. But that is what Legacy Builders Org is the essence of what it is about. I'm very excited for how it has taken off. And please, ma'am, please, sir, stay tuned to what it is that we have going on so you can be a part and come to one of our future events.
And you said the next one is on Father's Day.
Yes, if you want to donate, um, inbox me. We're still putting together a lot of the things. Legacy Builders, that wasn't even planned. That was something that happened on, at least in my mind, it was God's plan, you know. But it wasn't. I wasn't planning on doing that. That happened on accident. That was a move. That was a moment that became a movement. Okay, yeah, that was a moment that became a movement. Sometimes we miss what God wants us to do because we're waiting on the big movement without recognizing the moment. Okay, I hope that helped somebody. We're looking for the big boom, the big bam, and God is like, no, the big boom is in that moment. I need you to recognize it being a moment while a movement while being in the moment. Okay, all right, yeah. So stay tuned. We got a lot of things happening. Inbox me, and I will help. We have a we're in the process of finalizing our Facebook page. We do have a PayPal. You can email us legacybuildersorg. This is how it sounds, legacybuildersorg at gmail.com. or just inbox me so you can donate to our cause. You know, we're nothing more than a community of men and women that in which we are committed to helping others fulfill their purpose on purpose by way of being a village. We're a village, you know. Mentorship is cool, but I like a village mindset better because, you know, what Karen may not have, Troy has. What Troy may not have, uh, Nicole has. What Nicole may not have, Shannon has. You know what I'm saying? So it's a village. Our website, I'm gonna let her. It's the lb.org. The
The
lb.org.
lb.org.
That's right.
So
Um, yeah,
glb.org.
yeah. And for those that coincidentally for those that are in a fraternity or sorority, right? LB is, you know, you're familiar with the term LB if you are a male. It doesn't mean the same thing, right? Not our line brother, but our legacy builder. Ooh, right. So you decide to be a part of the organization and to serve in the capacity in which we serve. You too would be an LB, a legacy builder, because the essence of who we are is not about us, but it's about who comes after us. The preservation of a legacy starts with how you are able to plant the seed into the lives of someone that will live after you. There it is.
Hashtag getting there.
Whoop, there it is. Whoop, there it is.
But you came through and just closed it all up for us.
I
I
hope,
don't
I
even
hope,
have
I
nothing
hope I
else.
did all right. I hope I did all right.
Well,
The pre-
based on the comments, I think you did great. We
the
have
preacher was on
LB
tonight,
here.
so I hope she know I still love the Lord. Yes, Lord.
Well, I definitely thank everyone that did join us this evening on the Layover podcast. If you do want to, definitely hear this on a replay after it's not on Facebook anymore, then please tune into anchor.fm/KTL Lifestyle. To stay connected with me, the website is KarenTLewis.com. Um, I think that's about it, True. I think that's all my information. I don't have all the fancy stuff you got going on.
Again, thank you so much for having me on. I'm humbled to be on your show. I appreciate your support, your willingness to push me and others towards their fulfillment. Some people, you know, they can't see the picture because they're in the frame. They can't see the potential because it's them, right? You know, we all need a Jonathan in our lives, right? We all need a a helper, you know, in our lives to recognize who we are beyond whose we are. So thank you for all it is that you do in serving in the community, and yeah, thank you. Support this young lady in all of her endeavors. Yeah,
And thank you, and definitely do the same because, Troy, we definitely know that you are leading the way. Um, Everything you do does not go unnoticed. Trust and believe.
mm,
I'm definitely proud of you and just watching you grow. I'm elated day in and day out because one minute I see you do one thing, next minute you do nothing, and it just gets bigger and bigger. So whatever support that you need from me and my tribe, we're always going to be here for you and your tribe as well.
there it is. Yeah, I'm going. I hope I can go back and replay this because I'm going to remember that she said that at 5:44. Whatever you need, you and your tribe, I'm there for you. Yeah,
Got it.
isn't that what she said, y'all? Isn't that what y'all heard? We are okay. All right.
I ain't dropped you off yet.
They heard it too.
They did.
Awesome, awesome, awesome.
Well, thank you all for tuning in. I'll definitely catch you all on the next episode of The Layover. And always have a good evening.